This video is about finding proportionality in graphs. First, data tables can be very confusing, but when the data is transferred into a graph, it is very visual and easy to understand. Now, let's talk about the x and y coordinates. Do you see the line in red? That's the x-coordinate. The x-coordinate is always the first to be graphed. When you're graphing, you go across the line and then up. The x is also known as the independent variable because it can change by itself and is not affected by the y's changes. Do you see the line in white? That's the y-coordinate. The y-coordinate is the second to be graphed. It is also known as the dependent variable because when the x changes, the y changes too as a result of those changes. What is proportionality? Proportionality is when something increases at a constant rate. There are two things a graph must have to be proportional. It must start at the point of origin, which is 0, 0, and the unit rate must be constant, which means it increases at the same rate every time. Now you may be wondering, how do you figure out if the graph isn't proportional? Well, one way to figure that out is to look at the line. If the line isn't straight, that means the unit rate has not increased constantly, making it not proportional. Now that we know how to figure out if a graph is proportional, then we need to know what is k. K is the unit rate, or the amount of increase per unit. K is found by dividing the variable y by the variable x. If the graph is unproportional, then k is undefined because the unit rate is not constant. Here are some real-life examples of using proportional relationships. Chefs use them when finding out how much of a certain ingredient to use if they double or triple a recipe. Shoppers find the price of multiple items, and you might need it for finding out how many gallons of gas you need for each hour on a road trip. Now, here's a real-life example. Here's my brother Logan and his eating habits. How's that apple, Logan?
Stop talking!
So I've got a graph of Logan's eating habits. The question is, are they proportional? Here's the answer. They are. But why? They are because the amount of fruits Logan ate every day increased constantly at the same rate, meaning this graph is proportional. Lastly, knowing how to read a proportional graph and identify k are very valuable skills. This is because proportional graphs can be used almost anywhere, at a job or at your house.